As I started to explain in my last video, Unit 2 is going to cover managing life skills. So, on top of financial literacy, basic life skills such as learning how to sew a button on a shirt, making sure we know how to tie a tie, wrapping a present, writing an email, all of those things that we take for granted as adults that we know how to do. We will also talk about auto and health insurance, budgeting for things like a vacation, wedding, or just life in general after high school. Unit 3, we concentrate on building a home. So we'll look again at the buying and renting processes when you are acquiring a home. We'll look at and apply the principles and elements of design, both to housing and clothing. We'll look at being able to purchase or rent property and a home in our geographical location and so forth. In our final unit in this course, we're going to look at maintaining relationships with self and others. So we'll look at just building and maintaining interpersonal relationships, whether they're romantic or platonic. We'll look at the family life cycle. We'll look at the formation of stable and committed relationships. And then we're also going to look at factors that contribute to healthy and unhealthy relationships, and then how we handle those things as they come up. We'll be able to demonstrate better, more positive stress management by the end of the unit, hopefully, and then also look at the effect of drug and alcohol abuse on the family unit and how to navigate that if that's something that comes up in their lives. With this class, we have a pretty solid routine. We split the units up into about 4 weeks at a time. When we are on campus, we do bell work. When we're off campus, we do something called a daily agenda. So what that is going to look like is the same as it does for orientation to facts if you watched that previous video. If you didn't, for each class that I teach when we are virtual, when students sign on each day, they're going to see something like this. I give them 10 minutes before class to hop on a Zoom, ask questions if they have it, get settled for the day. And then we get into our morning check-in, which is a form they fill out each morning. And then I break down what we're going to cover. Then we also look at things that they could be doing, things that they need to do before our next meeting, and so on. For #adulting, we also use a unit interactive notebook. So they are able to access this in a variety of ways. Most students will have it saved to their specific Google Drive. And if they don't, they can always access it in our Google Classroom. So when they log on, they are able to access anything that they need to get caught up in class, if they need some help just with our class in general. And then the 2 topics they use the most are what they need to turn in before our next meeting, and then what I will need in class today. One place they can always find their interactive notebook is in that topic. So every unit is going to be set up the same way. They're going to have a unit map, and on that unit map, they will have a list of all the required activities we complete as a class, and then they can pick 3 assignments from this column, 2 assignments from this column, and 1 assignment from this column to complete within the time frame of 1 unit. So after every lesson, we go over their options, and then they can decide to complete that, or they might say, yeah, this lesson really isn't my favorite one so far, and then they can choose one from another. In this class, we go through a lot of really tough topics. So we do a lot of team building in between going through course material in order to create an environment that's very open-minded and that is tolerant of everybody, regardless of race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and so on. So we try and mirror what our hopes are as adult supporters of these students in their adult lives. Adulting is a great class for any student to take at really any point in high school, but I always recommend it for juniors and seniors. If you ever want to access any information for any of the courses I've just discussed, feel free to reach out to me. My email is on the staff directory of BHS's website. There's also information on there about how to access Google Classroom and the Google site for all the courses that I teach. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this, and I also am honored to be your child's teacher. Thank you for sharing them with the Valley View School District, and have a great day.